Yo, what's good? What's good? It's your boy Dave B, and welcome to the Esoteric Hustler Academy and shit like that. Now, I just finished up a video kind of talking about the energies in general, just a new moon reading and shit like that. But so this one is different. This going to be talking about Venus specifically because I forget about Venus and shit like that because Venus is important. Venus is the source of value. So when it comes to business, that's what the whole point is, exchanging value. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with something, a talent, gift, something that we have to offer, a resource, and figuring out ways that we can market it in order to exchange it for something that we value or we want from the other person. So we need to know where Venus is at in order to know how to go about kind of whether it be like a product and what about our product is actually going to work at the moment, or to know how we need to participate when it comes to trying to gain support and shit like that, as far as what's going to get support and what's not going to get supported, because that's another thing too. Venus brings support, so depending on the house that, like, if you're an artist and shit like that, knowing the house that Venus is in is knowing the area of life you currently going to get support in. So you know that, okay, if I do things kind of in this area, even if you create art that reflects that area, like say Venus is in your fourth house and shit like that, making songs about home or about certain things that are private matters and things like that, that might actually benefit you at the time. Even if you don't drop this song at that time, you utilize the energy to create something that can go towards a bigger project, something out that comes out later or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or if you already got something in the stash and you feel like, man, I want to drop something today, then you can go in the stash and find something that kind of reflect that mood. And if it resonate with you, boom, you know what I'm saying? You prepared. And that's the whole idea about being prepared for certain transits and shit like that ahead of time and shit like that. Even though we all have the ability to time travel. I feel like that's time traveling for real. When you do something at one transit and shit like that, but later on down the line it seems to work. And you know what I'm saying, like if you get cold enough with that shit, you end up being able to really structure your career. You know what I'm saying? You can get kind of cold with your discography or your whatever your resume is. You know what I'm saying? As you build it, as you continue to put out work, you can start getting crazy with it and shit like that, crazy organized, and start to harness different results, because it's all about testing different things out too. Because everything that I'm saying is like, I'm not saying it like it's law. It's just something I've experienced. So you know what I'm saying? But as an individual yourself, you got to put it to test too in different areas and shit like that. Not just take what I'm saying, cuz hey, I'm just myself. You feel me? Like, I don't know shit. I'm just reminding you of different ways that we can utilize this energy and shit like that. So, let's get that clear. But for the most part, Venus going into Capricorn and shit like that. So for the most part, there's gonna be like a quick video and shit like that. For the most part, you know what I'm saying, Venus being in Capricorn, it's all about reality. Reality, baby. Like, it's all about reality, baby. Like, so when it comes to this shit, realistic shit is what's gonna get the support. So with your business, you need to make sure you structure your business. Worry about the structure. Start to fix the structural parts of your business that aren't necessarily consistent. They're not practical. And see, Venus is given, it's like a opportunity to initiate practicality through Venus, you know what I'm saying, and start to love and appreciate it on your own. So like, if you love and appreciate and value the structure of your business, you can get the most out of Venus right now. AKA, it's going to allow you to start to participate in things that are going to contribute to refining what about your business actually makes sense, and what's working and what's not working, and the structural elements of how your business is built and how it runs and shit like that. And like I always like to say, Capricorn, Saturn, this is the sign of um systems and processes. Systems and processes are what actually sustain businesses. You might have a bomb ass idea, but if there's not a strong enough system in place for you to present the value and for you to receive the value right back, like if there's not a simple, not simple, but if there's not a strong enough system of exchange, because like the inner workings of a business kind of work in a lot of different ways. Like the inner workings of a business is like, there has to be a system in place for you creating the product, for you putting the product on a shelf or being able to be displayed, and then for people to actually see the product and be able to easily purchase it and for you to execute the delivery of that product or service and shit like that. Like, but then there's other systems behind in place, as in a system for your money, a system for, you know what I'm saying, as far as accounting, a system for knowing who's on the team, and communicating with the team. You know what I'm saying? Now we're talking managers, and then regional managers. You know what I'm saying? Like depending on the scale of your business. Now I know we entrepreneurs and shit like that. So 9 times out of 10, you probably in the stage where you getting it. You either by yourself or a small knit group of people, or even if you is in a, if you are in a larger company, or like, you know what I'm saying, you a small business and it's your business, but it's a little larger in scale and shit like that. That's even the more systems you need, you know what I'm saying, because the bigger the scale, the better your system need to be. And but here's the thing about if you are on the ground level, the only way you can scale your business is if you make room through these systems. Otherwise, when more people start to get added on, it's gonna be difficult for you to keep control and track of what's going on in your business and shit like that. Things that easily get out of hand, or they'll just never grow to that. Like, businesses is kind of like a turtle, where depending on the size of the tank will determine how big that thing can grow. If the tank is too small, aka you don't have no kind of systems, you just got a group of people together doing a bunch of random shit and every now and then y'all get paid, you're not even going to have the right structure system for you to be able to plan ahead to scale your business upward. You know what I'm saying? You going to stay stagnant. So you're not going, until you create a system that creates enough space for you and your business, you're not going to actually be able to move forward or scale it any kind of way. You know what I'm saying? So that's something to keep in mind when at the base level, when you're at the foundation. Start to practice what the system is, aka what do you do to create the product? First of all, how does that work? What's every step involved, right? Now, what you can do, right? You might not have the people to fill these roles in, but start to highlight what the actual process and product combined products. But no, you gotta like start to identify and structure out what the actual process behind creating the product is, and then that way you'll be able to be in a space to where when it is time to have other people, you can teach them exactly how to do it. And if you can teach somebody how to do something in the process, that's why certain things like McDonald's work, because it was a simple recipe and they was able to teach everybody to do it. So that gets to a point where your business starts to become powerful, because it's in the sense where no matter who's behind the grill, you'll always get the same taste and result. Now, if you can do that and translate it to whatever it is that you do business, and it might be a lot more difficult when we talk about doing some more of these creative things, like if you're talking about, but it's the same thing in general, because like it's just with creativity, you just allow enough space for them to have their own individual flair, and you acknowledge their individuality. And this is how you be a good manager or creative director. You allow somebody else's creativity to work for you, aka you already know their style and what they like to do. Now respect their craft and their creativity enough to put them in a position where you give them enough space to do their thing, but you still able to have a system in place where you say, just make sure that you follow these steps, aka what I like to do is I like to give a draft. So like, you know, like you can create a system in which they can still follow a process, but still have enough space to have their own individuality within that, as far as creativity and shit like that. That's just some shit to keep in mind if you are dealing in a creative business and you want to scale it and shit like that. And that's what a lot of mainstream businesses don't understand, as far as like they don't give a fuck about your individual creativity, but a lot of times they just want to play it safe, because they more so on the negative end of the system. But that's not negative all the time, because playing it safe is cool. And the bigger your business gets, sometimes it makes sense to play it safe and shit like that. Sometimes you can't take certain risks, you know what I'm saying? But risks do need to be taken and shit like that. And that's where you get a business that might be stale, because they not willing to take certain risks or allow their artists to actually be artists. And a lot of times you get into these big businesses, they don't give a fuck about your individuality. They like, nah, we trying to turn the most maximum profit at all times. And like, you know what I'm saying? But that's a whole different conversation and shit like that. But for the sake of what we talking about, Venus and shit like that, that's where the value is going to be at. Structure and making sense out of things, you know what I'm saying? And since this is the business channel, we're not talking about love and relationships and shit like that. But we can talk about partnerships, because as far as partnerships, we're going to get to a time where you're not even going to value anybody. Like the type of, it's like, you want to make sure that you are valuing the people in your life, or the partnerships in your life that actually contribute to you creating some kind of structure. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or you might be in a situation where your partnership might even feel like a restriction and shit like that. That's if you on more of the negative end of this transit and things of that nature. So keep in mind also the things that you value, or the things that you're indulging in, or the partnerships that you in that keep you away from actually expanding, that put restrictions on you, aka because you're so lost in indulging into something, you can't actually get your business done on time because you're too busy indulging in the wrong shit, or you overindulging in work to the point where you're burnt out, and now like you can't even go for it with nothing because you don't have no energy. So you know what I'm saying, it's different levels that you have to be able to look at this shit to be able to make sure you're not on any kind of polar shift, or you know what I'm saying, not too far on this side, not too far on that side. What else? Yeah, overindulging, and you might be overindulging in your status and shit like that. Try not to be too egotistical when it comes to what you do and being known for it. Kind of, you know what I'm saying, with this energy, you want to let the work speak for itself. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to tell everybody that you a CEO. Have your business be running efficiently and shit like that, and people will acknowledge you as so. You know what I'm saying? Don't just go out and just be like, you know what I'm saying, because that's a lot of times when we get proved wrong or get embarrassed, because we'll be saying, yeah, we this, but when it actually manifests, or time to actually prove that, you know what I'm saying, we'll have to prove it on someone else's time. When you go around and you talking too much shit, you start to be in a situation where you got to prove it on other people's time, and that puts you in a weird and an awkward position, because your clock ain't on somebody else's clock. So if they want you to show up at a certain time because you done presented yourself in a way, so now they challenging you to prove it, and that's not the time for you to prove it, then that's when you make a mistake, and now you got to feel embarrassed. You got to suffer with feeling inadequate or insecure about what you can do and shit like that. When if you were just kind of solid and let your shit speak for itself, you always gonna be ready, because you'll always kind of be in your own timeline. Like nobody will be trying to derive something out of you. They'll just be able to look over, and you already doing your thing. You already in your bag. You already minding your business. So when they look over and they see you in your bag, it's also it's like an unspoken respect, because it's like they didn't. It's like, you know what I'm saying, kind of like. And also that's something you got to keep in mind too. I don't know. I guess this pertains to Venus and Capricorn as well. But there's always somebody watching, and always somebody clocking and looking at what you doing and shit like that. You might not think that, you might not feel that way, but there's always someone paying attention. So make sure when it comes to your status and your structure and shit like that, you solid. I feel like this is coming into a time where really it's going to pay off to be solid. Whatever you do, whatever you participate in, make sure you solid, aka the same thing that people were seeing on the outside is the same shit that you working on the inside, or vice versa. What you working on the inside, it's going to automatically be what you working with on the outside. So, but I guess I said it the right way, because it's like a lot of times we might be presenting ourselves and want to be known a certain way, but what's actually going on beneath the surface ain't that way. And it's going to be an opportunity for you to kind of get this on the same page, with the sun being in Scorpio and shit like that, and Venus kind of, you know what I'm saying. But also keep in mind too, Venus is going to be starting to get real close to Pluto and shit like that. So there's going to be transformation needed in order for you to get the things that you value, or when it comes to the things that you value. You're probably valuing the wrong things about your status, or the wrong aspects of what you have to offer to the world. Or yeah, you might be valuing the wrong aspects of what you have to value to the world, or valuing the wrong aspects of the material. You know what I'm saying? You might need to transform how you structure in different things in order to get a better result. or something along the lines of that. You know what I'm saying? Like into that area where there's gonna have to be some kind of transformation involved as Venus moves further into Capricorn, closer and closer to Pluto and shit like that. So and like, you know what I'm saying. So pay attention to your habits. I was saying about the new moon energy, like this is a great time for you to kind of get your habits in control and re-examine what it is that you indulge in, and kind of going back there and making sure that you're not spending too much time indulging in some shit that you don't got no business indulging in. So, that's something to keep in mind for the most part and shit like that. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that's Venus going into Capricorn and shit like that. And we'll talk more about it because, I like to talk about the transits as they come, but at the same time, they develop. You know what I'm saying? Over time, they go through different things, and we learn and derive different things from when planets is in certain signs. Also Venus and Mars are going to be sextiling. So there's going to be opportunities as far as our passions to get to what it is that we value and shit like that. But, like I said, it's about to be a very strategic time, a very behind the scenes time, and a very dry time. You know what I'm saying? As far as what we value, we're going to value more the dry side of things, more of what's making sense, what's structured. So, when it comes to your business and shit like that, if you want to thrive and be in alignment with other people and make other people feel safe enough to spend money with you in your business, or even invest into your ideas or your music or whatever it is, your art, you want to make sure that you're creating a stable system that is structured well. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't got to be the craziest structure ever, but you know what I'm saying, you ain't got to hurt yourself trying to come up with something, but just make sure it makes sense and have it, you know what I'm saying, and have it be consistent enough to actually stand on its own. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying, you'll be able to, you'll do no wrong essentially, and things of that nature. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind and shit like that. And yeah, Venus is also going to be sextiling Neptune and shit like that. So, it's going to be opportunities for us to kind of see what we value and link it to our dreams and shit like that. So, the transformations that we doing now, it's a crucial time because, I be looking ahead sometimes. Like, I don't get too lost in what's going on ahead, but I just know that, hey, everything is a progression. So, eventually the sun is going to be going over Pluto and shit like that. So it's like, it's just a lot of things pertaining to transformation and shit like that, and then I didn't say this in the new moon video, but Pluto and Uranus are trining each other. So there's gift and transformation and change right now. The only way you're going to get any structure out of this life at the moment, it's going to come through you changing something and you actually going through the transformation of it. You putting depth to something that's not working and you actually moving forward into what the new change needs to be, because things is not going to be the same, nor are things that worked before going to work now. So, you know what I'm saying? You probably already seeing that now, but, that's really the name of the game when it comes to this kind of shit. Yeah. Yeah, so that's it in a nutshell and shit like that. Like I said, I just wanted to hop in and talk about that. Also, Mercury gonna be in Scorpio soon, trying to or sextiling Venus as well, and Pluto and shit like that. So it's going to be time for us to kind of re-examine and maybe even change our mind about certain ways that we're going about structure and shit like that. It's going to be an opportunity because basically Mercury going to have us overthinking about things that we can't see, things that's going on behind the scenes, and you want to make sure that your mind is in the right place, that you can actually have a clear enough mind to structure what needs to be structured in order to get to those things that is on your mind. Because what's going to start to shroud your mind is what you deeply connected to, or what you deeply passionate about and shit like that. So if you already starting this transit off and you ain't got your mind on the right things, or you ain't got your focus on the right things and your feelings and your intent on the right things, then when Mercury gets into Scorpio, it's going to be all fucked up too, and you're going to be focused on the wrong things, having the wrong things on your mind, and overthinking about the wrong things. And you don't want to put yourself in a position like that, especially not as far as pertaining to your business, because it's going to be a lot of opportunities for you to actually readjust your thinking for the sake of how to actually structure these things. But your mind going to be in a space to actually be thinking and considering what it is that you deeply want, and it's gonna have the opportunity to link with Pluto to give you the right idea about what needs to be transformed, whether that needs to be a mental thing as far as according to what you deeply connected to, or whether that just goes along with Pluto and you initiating some form of transformation anyway. And then the same thing with Venus, you know what I'm saying, it's going to give you the opportunity to get what you want right? To get what you value. But if you value in the wrong shit, or your value is not in the right place, you're not gonna actually be able to. You just gonna distract yourself. You're gonna be focused on the wrong shit and come up with deep, dark, nasty ideas about how to get some bullshit. You feel me? And then Venus being in Capricorn, you could be valuing the wrong shit, aka valuing things that, like I was saying in the beginning, things that restrict you off the bat, or things that just are shrouded in the 3D. You know what I'm saying? Whether that be a bunch of material shit, but not in the aspect of you actually utilizing it as a bitch, but it utilizing you, aka you so in love with your job even though you hate that job and shit like that. So you just nervous because you don't want to take the risk. So you overindulging into something that feels safe, or that you feel like you can get a lot of money out of, but it's not true to you. It's not something that you even need to be involved in at the moment, but you just doing it because of you want to look a certain way. You want to have a certain status. You want to, you know what I'm saying, want to have a certain money in your account, which ain't, ain't nothing wrong or right about anything in the world, but it's just like it comes down to being true to who you are as a spirit. So, yeah. So much love. That's what's going on with Venus and shit like that. Pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention. And you heard it. You know what I'm saying? So much love, and I'll catch you on the next one.